All right. Good morning, everybody. This is Coleman Murphy with the Smartcat team. I'd like to welcome you to today's learning session on Smartcat Translation Quality Score, or Smartcat TQS, the objective, consistent, and continuous measurement of AI translation quality. And with us today, we have Andy from the product team. We have Jean-Luc from customer success. Um, and also joining us is Igor, our director of product, who is one of the main leads behind our product roadmap. So everybody will be available throughout the session to answer questions as they come up. We're going to do typical webinar format here. We'll have a few slides initially, just talking about what's happening in the landscape in general. It's been quite a roller coaster year for AI in general. Generative AI, including AI translation, has been huge. So we're going to touch on that just a little bit, but we really want to make this a learning session for you. So most of this demo, today's webinar, is going to be giving you a demonstration of AI translation and TQS in action, so you can get a feel for the areas where it might apply to your content and the work that you do. I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes while more people join, and then we will get into the demonstration. All right, I don't know how we got to the end, but we will get right back to slide one in just a moment. All right. Again, if you've just joined us, I'm Coleman with the Lifecycle Marketing team here at Smartcat. We're just waiting for people to join the session. So we'll get started with the main demo in just a minute or so. Our agenda today, evolving trends in localization. We're going to make that a pretty light view of the year that has just passed or almost passed, and looking ahead at what we can anticipate in 2014 and how that would impact you in your role, whether that's you're an LSP or you're directly involved in localization and translation as a primary job function within your organization, or if you don't really think of translation as being a core part of your work, but rather being something that you have to do in order to achieve your business goals. So if you're in learning and development, for example, making training available to your global audience is critical. We're making it as easy as possible for you to not only make that available globally, but to make it available with context and in the correct languages. Or if you're in marketing or sales, product development, website, all of those can be supported using AI translation. But there are nuances, and especially as more content gets translated, there's an increasing workload associated with not just the translation and the management of AI, but really the assessment of quality and the improvement of the quality. So that's what we're going to focus on today. It really is, we want to show you how you can scale up your translation of all types of content, but do it in a way where quality can be maintained and in fact increased. Our goal is to help you achieve 100% accuracy with AI translation. It's always going to take a little bit of time to get there, but we'll walk you through how we get you closer with every session. All right, we're about 4 minutes in, so I'm going to kick it off. Again, one more time, I'm Coleman Murphy. I'm in Lifecycle Marketing here at Smartcat. Our main demo today will be presented by Andy on the product team. We also have Igor, who's the head of the product team, who can answer your questions about more technical aspects of not just AI translation, AI quality assurance, but also our overall product and roadmap strategy. And as ever, we have Jean-Luc representing customer success. So collectively, you've got many years of experience with localization, translation, and Smartcat specifically. So we are excited to wrap up our year's sessions of these learning series with this particular session and an announcement of translation quality score. If you do have questions, you can submit them at any time. There's the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. So please use that rather than chat, because those questions will go into a queue. We'll either answer them real time or we will answer them after the fact and share it along with the recording. So the session is being recorded. You should anticipate an email in the next 48 hours with the link to the recording. And we'll also have a transcript of all of the questions there. All right. So before we get too deep into the trends in what's happened in 2023 and the trends in 2024, for those of you who are not familiar with Smartcat, I just wanted to give you this one slide summary of what it really is. So Smartcat is the essential language AI platform. And by that, we mean it's not just AI translation. It is so much more than that. Collectively, all of these enable you to make translation an integral part of your day-to-day work and do it in a way that is fast, accurate, cost-effective. So some of the major components of Smartcat, as I mentioned, AI translation, we do that. We can translate dozens of different file types, hundreds of different languages. We have direct integrations with creative platforms like Figma or Google, the whole Google suite of document management, like Google Sheets, Google Slides, but also Google Drive. We can cover all of those, and we do it in hundreds of languages. I see somebody has raised their hand. Gina, if you wouldn't mind just dropping a question into chat, we can address that. Can everybody hear me okay? Is audio good? Just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, I'm getting nodding heads. Okay, so in addition to AI, we also give you the tools to manage the whole project. So we've got an AI-powered project management component to Smartcat. For those of you who are from the LSP side of the world and are familiar with Smartcat, you know this is an extremely robust and unique part of our platform where you can manage very large projects. A big component of that is also using freelancers or tapping into our community of over 500,000 professional linguists around the world who can help with translation, if you want to do a human translation, but also human post-editing and quality control. And then the last component is procurement and payment. So if you're from a large organization and you want to do, for example, in-country validation of your learning and development courses, then through Smartcat, you just need to have a single contract and we can coordinate and manage payment of all of your contractors around the world. So that's a brief snapshot of Smartcat. We're always open to having direct conversations with you. If you have any questions or want to learn more about any of these, you can definitely put a question in Q&A, but also we can set up a separate conversation with you after this. Okay, so I am guilty of a little bit of plagiarism here. We were looking at the world. There's so much talk happening, or so much talk has happened in 2023, especially around generative AI and ChatGPT. It is for sure a reality that AI, and especially generative AI, is a massive force that is reshaping what's happening in all areas of business, and especially in translation. But as we step back a little bit, when we look at the whole universe, AI right now, and specifically AI translation, makes up a small component, about 20 to 30% of all translation that takes place. So rather than micro-focusing just on the technology and, is ChatGPT better than Bard or one of the other platforms, I thought it was important for us to just step back and look at what is actually happening when we think about the universe of content. And the CSA webinar that took place on December 7th, there's a link to it on their website if you want to learn more on that. But I felt like that gave a really good snapshot of where we are at a very high level. So right now in 2023, about 80% of translations are human driven, but we're just on the cusp of unleashing so much more and blending different types of translation. So whether it's the audio track in a podcast or lip syncing and dubbing into video or translating every type of asset that you have within an organization, blending those and merging those and creating new content. We're just now stepping into that world. And it has the potential to, it's definitely going to touch every aspect of business, not just the act of translating a document, but the act of applying that to real-time interpretation, for example, or managing projects, I gave some examples of what we already do using AI in project management and contact sourcing or lead sourcing. But all of these are coming together and opening up the opportunity to do a huge volume of content, and you don't have to be a localization professional in order to do it. So the tools are now in the hands of pretty much any knowledge worker to just go to a specific piece of content and translate it. But the challenge is now going to be not so much the act of translating content or transforming it and then making it available in different languages, but the challenge is going to be, how do we ensure quality? So we've gotten past the barrier of how do I translate something, and now we're into how do I manage the huge volume of materials that I can translate, and how do I ensure that I can deliver high quality content using AI translation and AI post editing, if that's where you're at. How do I do that in the best, highest quality way possible? Still in a cost-effective way, still quickly, but quality is quickly emerging as being the number one consideration for teams as they look at 2024. Like, how do I apply these tools in a way that delivers really good results as opposed to just, a large volume of results? And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Andy, who's going to talk about Smartcat Translation Quality Score, which we believe is that step towards that next generation of AI translation. So Andy, over to you.
Thank you, Coleman. Hi, everybody. So excited to talk to you today on the Smartcat Translation Quality Score webinar. And thank you very much for spending your time this evening or morning of your time. Hopefully you'll find these webinar insightful and helpful. So let me first start elaborating a little bit about the translation quality score from Smartcat. As you might know, there are several many companies that as of now trying to come up with the translation quality scores. I'm not mentioning competitors' names here, but there are several attempts to bring the quality score to the masses. And Smartcat thinks that we came up with a formula, with the idea how we can bring the Smartcat quality score to the tool, to the platform that can help you to leverage the automated translations in the best possible way. So what translation quality score is the fully automated machine learning based evaluation technology that is trained on the previous human translations, and that predicts how close the translation, the current translation, is to an average or typical human translation. And average is very important here because that means that if your translation deviates from the norm, from the expectation, the score might get lower, but not by much. And the idea of the TQS score is to bring the attention, your attention or the attention of the reviewers to the potentially bad, ambiguous, or highly creative segments in the first turn. So this way you will focus your work or of your people where it needs the immediate attention. So with that said, let me jump into the demo. And while I'm doing that, the demo assumes that you already have some knowledge about the Smartcat user interface. If you don't worry much. It's not too technical, but still, it will be helpful. So with that, I have slightly small window. I'm sharing. Okay, found it. Sorry about that. So I'm sharing the Smartcat. All right. So what you see here is the home screen of the Smartcat tool. And there are several use cases where TQS might come in handy and helpful. We have 30 minutes left, so let me start with the basic one. I've created several project templates to make it easier for us, and walk you through to the ground of the TQS. So I'm creating a project based on the template, which is called demo, and I'm using English as a source language and Spanish and Portuguese as a target. Can be any language. TQS score works with any source in the target languages you might have on your projects. And I am dropping a sample file in here. So, and the project template consists of two steps, two stages. So AI translation plus editing. I'll mention why that's important here just in a second. I'm hitting the create project button, and the project creation starts. As you can see, there's an analysis stage, which is followed by the auto translation stage. And as soon as it's done, you would see that there is a new widget on them. If you are familiar with the Smartcat interface, you would see that there is a new widget here on the right side, which is obviously says translation quality score. There is a tiny help button here. You can click on that to read through the supporting materials about the score, how it works, what it's based off. But basically what you see here, the project score, and as you can tell, it varies from 90 to 92 for the project, which is already a good number. As you can see, it's even a great number if you can see here on the screen. And that 90 to 92 comes from the languages in the project. So if you look further down the languages section, you would see for the Spanish, it's 92, and for Portuguese, it's 90 for the score. There's also quite a tiny information button here containing information about the TQS itself. So what do you do with that number? Basically, first of all, it gives you an indication of the project quality overall, project AI translation quality overall. We don't intend to measure the quality of the human reviewers or human translators. It's specifically targeted to the AI translations. So what do you do next as you have that number? First of all, it already gives you an indication where your focus should be. So for example, if I'm diving into the project itself, I'm clicking open the editor here. And what I see the list of, let me make it a bit adjustment here. I see the list of segments, and there is a TQS score associated with each segment here. So the score for the languages we've seen on the previous screen is basically the aggregation of the scores for each segment in the file for the specific language. So in here, what do you do with that number? So first of all, you can filter out weak segments. You can filter out. There is a new section in the filter which says translation quality. You can say all the translations lower than 90%. I want to see them first. I want to work on them first. And here we have 5 segments. Okay, so as you can see, I have 5 segments with a score lower than 80. And as I work on those first, so for example, segment number 14, I don't like the translation. Well, 14 is fine. Okay, so this one, 15, I don't like it. I'm changing it to a bit slightly different one. And as I do the change and as I confirm the segment, the score immediately goes to 100, meaning that I am confident that this is the expected translation. So it doesn't matter how the estimate was. I want to bring that one particular segment to the 100% as I'm confident about the translation quality. So as you do that, you would go through the segments, you make the changes, corrections, you confirm that those segments at the end of the day. You start with the lower quality scores and advance through all these segments. You can use the built-in automated tools. You can confirm all the segments here, for example. And as that is happening right now, as you can see in the editor, all the TQS scores for each individual segments got up to 100%. And if we jump back to the project's view for Spanish, that's what we see. We brought the, as we've reviewed, I'm fast forwarding through the review process here. As we reviewed the Spanish and confirmed all the segments, you could see that the quality score for the Spanish now it's 100, and the project indicator, project widget tells me that it's 90 to 100, indicating that 90 is the lower score among the languages in the project, and 100 is the higher one. As I have only two of those, so it's obvious which one is which. So yeah, and then you will proceed with other languages on the project. For example, just a similar way to work on the, oops, sorry, that's still Spanish. I want to go to Portuguese. You would still work in the same way. You would see the scores. You would work on the lower scores first to bring the overall project TQS higher as quicker. So let me do that again here, as I'm not reviewing them on the call. And jumping back to the project, we should see that the Portuguese is also 100%. Happy project, 100% reviewed, 100% TQS score and 100% progress. Sorry, TQS score is not percent, it's the value, 100%, 100 points TQS, 100% progress. And that should conclude the video. So basically, what I'm showing you is a production environment. The TQS score is available to everybody. It will require involvement of a customer success team to turn it on. But yeah, the tool is available and ready for you on the platform. Coleman, I guess it's back to you now.
Great, thank you, Andy. And I know we have a few questions that were raised that have already been answered in line. Given that we have Igor on the call, I would love to also, hear from you and just give a little more context on TQS in the broader picture of what's happening in the localization and AI world, or the AI translation world. We were really specific in this demo of like, this is how you use the platform. We opened up with a big picture view of where volume and trends are going overall. But maybe you can go just a little bit deeper than I went on the significance of TQS specifically in the overall evolving world, where non-professionals like the average user are starting to adopt these tools for projects that are mission critical, but not necessarily supported by a localization team.
Yeah, of course. So, but to answer your loaded question, Coleman, I will start with answering one of the questions that I typed in the QA chat about like the technology, and this will lead to answering in a more broader scope. So, TQS, the way we implement it is a like proprietary combination of different technologies. We use LLM-based approaches, and we use our own kind of tuned version of the Comet score. And since we understand what people are doing on the platform, as you are editing things on the platform, our system can learn from those edits. We analyze post-editing distance of all of the edits that you do on the platform, and we'll be using that to further like tune our translation quality score so that it better matches the expectation, right? So it matches the effort that you then are doing to post-edit those segments. Now, why TQS is important overall? What we see currently is that many companies are shifting towards doing in-house reviewing. And with that, they use subject matter experts to do, like, first they do use AI translation to quickly pre-process the file, get those translations, analyze the translation quality using our TQS, and then they invite their reviewers to do like quick review of those translated contents. And internal reviewers sometimes is like a very scary, very scarce resource, right? So people don't have time to do those reviews, but they want to have a quality result back. And TQS allows you to focus your attention on what needs most attention, right? It's not a silver bullet in terms of giving you exactly the right number, how quality the translation is in a perfect world, but it is one of the tools in your tool set that allows you to point your attention to potentially most problematic strings. And with that, you can spend less time and effort reviewing your content, starting with the segments with lower TQS score, seeing how that goes first, and then seeing if you have time to review things that are with a higher TQS score. So that is the main approach. We believe that it will like measurably reduce the amount of post-editing effort by focusing you on the right things.
Great, thank you, Igor. Cool. All right, I see we have some questions open. We have some questions answered. So please, anybody on the call, if you've got any questions about TQS specifically, or our overall AI translation, or just the entire portfolio of Smartcat capabilities, feel free to drop those in. We definitely have plenty of time today to answer your questions. So
I can probably take the first one from Alina.
Sure.
Alina asks if TQS only works in projects with this AI plus post-editing custom template. No, it works on everything. Essentially, whenever there's a change to translation in any segment, in any project with any configuration, we are calculating this translation quality score. When you are reviewing your translation, we show you that the estimated TQS is at 100, meaning that if you are, as a linguist, are confident that the translation is right, this is why you confirm the segment, we're showing you the highest number. But even with that, we are storing like the original TQS for each of the segment revisions, and we'll be helping you later when you'll be reusing your translations from TM, showing that translation quality score. And in the editor, we'll also show you the history of all of your edits and translation quality scores there.
great.
All right.
Thank you.
Shall we take questions like one by one? Andy, do you want to pick something that you like from the list? I think we have 6 open questions.
Yeah, let me take on the third one as I have an option, I guess, to do so. So Benjamin is asking, is the score only assessing the machine translation? It's a first part of the question, and the answer is yes. We are not the score is not intended to rank the human translation. And once the human checks, it's assumed it's 100%. Yes, that's correct. That's where we want the overall score to be. Or could you use it to check the quality of the human post edits if you were the project owner or the project manager? So this is yes and no. So even though I've said that we are not measuring the quality of the human translators, what we measure the confidence of the translations. So if we see that the translation score is low, meaning that translation quality is not so good, but we also see a few edits to the segment, it means that this is improbable situation, and the project managers, project owners, managers, whoever is supervising it, probably should have that segment or a set of segments on their radar. So we'll be lowering we'll be bringing that segment or set of segments to their attention by modifying by signaling through the TQS score. The opposite situation, well, the situation where we have the high score, but also high amount of edits, also is improbable situation. And we want human editors, managers to look into those situations, even though the score is high. So answering that particular question, we do bring the troublesome or segments that are triggered by the TQS score and the amount of post edits to the reviewers for the further analysis. So hoping that answered the question, Benjamin. Give me a thumbs up.
All right, I can probably pick another one. There's a question from Kirill, whether TQS works well for segments with tags and placeholders. So what we've seen in our assessment of the technologies, we're testing this on different types of content. We do see when formatting is changed, the TQS score is lowered. So it should be working with tags because TQS also picks up not only like the linguistic aspects of the translations, but also things like formatting, tags including and placeholders. So I would encourage you to try and see by yourself with your specific translation, specific strings.
Cool, thanks. Great. General question, is the TQS tool already available for Smartcat Unite plan? I'm not sure how it's packaged up right now, but I believe it is available to people on the Unite plan.
Yeah, we enable this on a case-by-case basis when you are asking your account manager. There's no restriction for that to be enterprise level only yet.
Great. So if you already have a paid subscription to Smartcat, this should be available to you. Just work with your CSM. Will it be available for people who use the trial?
Yes.
Great.
And soon, I think in a few days, we will be enabling this by default for all new trials.
Okay. All right. So any of you on the call that are interested in trying this out specifically, or frankly, if you just want to experiment with AI translation, Smartcat is a great place to start because we have both translation using traditional translation memories, or sorry, machine translation engines, as well as generative AI. So, please feel free to go to our website, create your own account, start playing around with this, and get yourself familiar with AI translation, post editing, and QA tools that we offer. Okay, there have already been a bunch of questions answered while we were doing the demo. I don't know if you want to read back through.
Yeah, I think one last one from Dan. I can handle that. So the question, unfortunately, is a bit vague, Dan, but the way I understand it is, do we factor in the source of the translation when calculating the translation quality score? The answer is no. Regardless of the source of the translation, TQS works on source and translation, and that allows us to analyze and further improve TQS. The only thing that Andy already demonstrated today is that whenever some human confirms a translation, we'll be showing that as a TQS of 100 and factoring this in the overall project and language pair score for that project.
Okay. There was one other question. So after you make edits that have been identified using TQS, do those get written back into the translation memory? Like what's the evolution of this beyond just improving the quality of today's translation?
So of course, the more you review your AI-based translations, the more you are feeding into your translation memories. So every time you confirm a segment and say, this translation is good for me, it is being saved into our translation memory, and then it is being reused in other projects. By default, the way we set up our automatic translation rules, we first look in translation memories, and for translation memory matches with like 100% matches, and full context matches, we do automatic confirmation of those segments. So again, the more you work with Smartcat, the more you review your content, the bigger your TM becomes, and the less you have to review afterwards. So that's the overall approach. Smartcat learns from your edits, helps you populate your database of your translation memories and efficiently reuse them in the future.
Cool. So I'm going to stitch together what you just said and a couple of other questions here into a scenario. So I've seen somebody ask about, can we use this with articulate files? I see another question about processing audio and video files. And with what you just said, Igor, where after the edits have been made using the Smartcat editor and get written back into the translation memory, these are available to everybody. So Jean-Luc, I'm going to put you on the spot for just a moment. So basically what we're describing here with the addition of TQS is the ability for highly distributed, maybe non-professional teams to work together truly on a global scale to deliver the highest quality of content for the organization.
Yeah, that absolutely, that's correct. So now you can use the tools that we're providing you, this AI translation, and also be able to validate, the output of the automatic translation using these TQS scores, and then allow you to, even if you're dealing with large volume of contents of different formats. You talked about videos, you talked about audio, you talk about articulated file, XLIF, whatever, and then using the scores to evaluate exactly pinpoints where you would need to put your efforts into the for example, review of the translation. And no matter how much volume you have, I think this is something we discussed, Coleman, is that you'll be able to handle a lot more volume, and generate the level of quality that you need, and evaluate, where you need to focus your efforts as far as the review of the output is concerned. So.
Cool. All right. Well, we've been a bit light on questions. I know it's the end of the year and everybody is probably ready to move on, either thinking about the holidays or thinking about all of the other tasks that you have to do before wrapping it up for the year. I would like to throw it out to everybody in the audience, though, and you can put your response back in chat. I'd really like to hear, as you think about 2024, what is the one big thing that you are hoping to address in the realm of translation specifically, or making content available multilingually? And that can be, anything from reaching new audiences to getting more support to implementing new tools. But, please give us your thoughts on where you want to take your world in 2024. Our goal is to be the best platform, to truly to be the AI language platform for you. So everything that you contribute is fodder for future product releases. I think everybody's being shy. All right, we just got one more question come in the meantime. Oh, Shelley. Persuading clients that human quality translations are worth paying for. Actually, that's a really good segue. One of the things that we see here, and was reinforced by that CSA slide, is human component. The human in the middle component is without question important today and will be even more important in the future. It's the function of that human that is shifting. So with automated tools like AI translation and AI quality scoring, you enable the humans to focus on the areas where they contribute the most. So whether that's having domain expertise in a particular language or language variant, or a technology business area, or a specific business function like marketing, learning and development, sales. So our goal is to make the most of the humans in the mix. And truly, we don't see any scenario. We're not hearing of any scenario through organizations like CSA where humans go away, but it really is the way in which humans work is going to change. So there's definitely opportunity for everybody, ourselves included, to adopt AI tools and really learn them, understand what is it that I individually can do using AI to make me better at my job. So we're actually pretty positive that this is overall a very good thing for the majority of people.
And it could be roles, Coleman, that are not, for example, maybe that important right now, like cultural adaptation, where the human interaction will be also very important, and translators will have maybe a role that's more enriching, maybe something that's more interesting than just doing like translation, but they'll be using AI to adapt, the content of the content for different cultures, different locales, and that could be something where the human will not be replaced very quickly, so.
Yeah, that one especially is something where we've seen that heavily reinforced in a few different settings. Okay, we got one more question that just came in. So here's the question from Matt. Instead of translating, say, English into another language, can the software look at the English someone uses and return something which uses simpler English, so people who can speak English little can understand what you are trying to say? So easy English. Jean-Luc, I see you nodding, so you get to answer that one.
Well, actually, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because like, some of the automatic translation engines that we use, for example, like, using something like OpenAI, GPT, or others, where you can prompt, and we didn't make a demo of that today. I think we made a demo in a previous webinar, where you can prompt the system, the engine, to return, for example, a translation or an adaptation of the content that's readable, for example, for someone with a grade 6 level reading or below, So this is something that can be also implemented in Smartcat. You could translate, for example, from English into English, but a simplified English, and you would prompt the engine specifically to say, I need this text to be much simpler. I need it to be for people that have basic reading skills in English, for example, and then you would have that output that could, of course, be reviewed inside Smartcat. So this is definitely something that's possible to do, and not just for English, but also for other languages, of course. So.
Right. I was just thinking you could concurrently translate it into simplified English, and then that person's native language variant of those actual words themselves in their own language.
Exactly. Yeah, and we had fun translating, for example, from different variants of English, like UK English to US English and things of that nature. There's a lot of things that you can do with this.
What about Canadian?
Quick comment from my side, Matthew. If you are a current Smartcat user, look into the AI actions. That's what Jean-Luc was talking about. So it's already there, waiting for you to engineer a proper prompt to get the job done.
And if you're not a Smartcat user, book a call and we can make a demo. So.
Cool. All right. Well, again, thank you everybody for joining today. This session has been recorded. The recording will be made available in about 48 hours. And also all of the questions asked are going to be transcribed and available for you to review as well. And I would also like to let you know, this is, I think, our 6th learning session in this series. So all of these recordings are also on our website. And I'll put together a list, and we'll make sure that everybody has access to not just this recording, but also the earlier ones where we covered the addition of generative AI capabilities in Smartcat, and a lot of other AI-powered capabilities. I'll leave it to Igor, Andy, and Jean-Luc to say their final words, and then I'll wish everybody the best for the remainder of the year and into 2024.
I can just join in saying the same. Thank you so much, guys, for being with us today. We're really excited about TQS and the future it brings. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining. Happy holidays ahead. Stay tuned.
Exactly. Thank you very much as well. Happy holidays, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you guys in our next webinar.
Sounds great. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.